My name is Laura Mitchell, and I used to believe that divorce was a form of freedom. That walking away from my marriage would open the doors to happiness, excitement, and a life without compromise. Instead, what I discovered was regret. I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and for as long as I can remember, I wanted the perfect life, the kind you see in glossy magazines, a loving husband, a beautiful home, and laughter filling every room. When I met David, I thought I had found it all. David wasn't the loud, charming type. He wasn't the guy who swept you off your feet in a dramatic fashion. He was steady, kind, thoughtful. He worked as an engineer, loved old cars, and had a quiet sense of humor that only surfaced when he felt safe. We married young, me at 24, him at 27. At first, everything was beautiful. We built our little home together, painted the walls ourselves, and spent late nights eating pizza on the living room floor because we couldn't afford a dining table yet. Those were the best nights of my life. But somewhere along the way, comfort turned into routine, and routine turned into boredom. I began to feel restless. David worked long hours, and when he came home, he was often exhausted. I, on the other hand, craved adventure, travel, and excitement. My friends were posting pictures of exotic vacations, wild parties, and glamorous events, while I was folding laundry and asking David what he wanted for dinner. One evening, I blurted it out. "David, do you ever feel like we're just stuck?" He looked at me with tired eyes. "Stuck how?" "Like, this is it. Work, bills, TV, sleep. We never do anything exciting anymore." He sighed. "Laura, not every day can be exciting. Marriage isn't about thrills. It's about building something real." But I didn't want to hear it. I told myself I deserved more. My best friend, Samantha, had divorced her husband the year before. She seemed happier than ever, traveling, dating, living life on her own terms. She was the one who planted the seed. "Laura," she said one afternoon over coffee, "you're too young to be tied down like this. You deserve to live. You deserve to be happy. Don't waste your best years cooking for a man who barely notices you." Her words echoed in my mind for weeks. And soon, I found myself sitting across from David at the dinner table, thinking, maybe she's right. Maybe I made a mistake marrying him so young. One argument turned into another. Small things, like him forgetting to take out the trash, became big things. Resentment piled up like bricks in a wall between us. Until finally, I said the words that changed everything. I want a divorce. David didn't yell. He didn't beg. He just stared at me for a long moment, then nodded. "If that's what you want, Laura, I won't stop you." His calmness infuriated me. I wanted him to fight for me, to prove me wrong. But instead, he quietly packed a bag and moved into a small apartment downtown. The paperwork was quick. Too quick. And suddenly I was free. At first, it felt liberating. No one to answer to. No one to cook for. No compromises. I went out with Samantha, traveled to New York for a weekend, even dated a few men I met online. But freedom wasn't what I expected. Every man I met felt temporary. None of them knew me the way David did. How I liked my coffee with too much cream, how I cried at animal rescue commercials, how I hated thunderstorms but loved the sound of rain. And the silence at night, it was unbearable. One evening, I drove past our old house. The porch light was on, and through the window, I saw David sitting at the dining table, the table we had bought together, laughing with someone. A woman. My stomach twisted. For months, I had told myself I didn't care. But in that moment, watching him smile at someone else, I realized the truth. I still loved him, and I had thrown him away. I tried reaching out. I called, left messages, even sent him an email. Weeks went by with no response. Finally, one day, he called me back. His voice was calm, steady, but distant. "Laura, I don't think talking is a good idea. You made your choice. I've moved on." Tears streamed down my face. "David, please. I made a mistake. I thought I wanted freedom, but I was wrong. I want us back." There was a pause. Then he said softly, "Laura, you wanted freedom. And now you have it. I won't take that away from you." And then he hung up. That was the last real conversation we ever had. It's been 3 years since the divorce. David is remarried now. He and his new wife, recently welcomed their first child. I saw a picture on Facebook, David holding the baby, his face glowing with joy. I smiled through the tears because he deserves that happiness. And me? I live alone in a small apartment, with only the echoes of my decisions to keep me company. People often say divorce is freedom. But I learned that freedom means nothing if you lose the person who was your anchor, your partner, your home. I divorced my husband, and I instantly regretted it. This is my story, but it's also a warning. If you're married and you're bored and you're tempted to walk away, ask yourself this. Is it really the marriage that's broken, or is it your perspective? Because sometimes in chasing freedom, you might lose the very person who made your life worth living. And when they're gone, regret is all that's left.